Hey everybody, we're back. I just want to point out before I get started reading how good I felt after speaking that truth to y'all about where I'm at and my experience and how I'm dealing with it. Because, for many years, by default, I went into anger, frustration, cursing this, that, hit the blunt, drink the 40, bust shots, act stupid, ignorance. I was in ignorance, a childlike ignorance, with loud fucking mouth and no respect. I've changed everything. And speaking about it just now, I'm so filled with joy. I am so filled with joy. Personal transmutations do occur. They're not easy. A lot of work is required. But I'm here to tell you that love always wins and you can be anything you want to be. And right now in this lifetime, I just want to be happy, surrounded by people that are happy, like-minded, loving individuals that enjoy their daily work, their daily yoga. So I'm going to Oregon searching for that. I know I'll find it because I've created it already in my mind space, my higher mind space, and my heart space. And now I'm speaking it into being. So y'all stick with me and watch how this progresses. Victory to the divine light. We're all one. Be right back. So they say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Many years ago, I learned to bless my water and reprogram it to do whatever I needed it to do, like healing, love, and light. And see it healing and regenerating my cells. You envision it and tell the water to do such. I want my original divine blueprint to come into being. I want my body to function properly, all organs, healthily, together, symbiotic in nature as one. One well-oiled machine like one of those fancy race cars, doing its thing, gliding through the matrix, healing, love, and light everywhere, Care Bear staring on everything. That's what I see when I encode my water. And I haven't needed a doctor ever since. These are just facts. These are just facts. I guess the apple can be enjoyed with peanut butter, because an apple a day keeps the doctor away doesn't apply here, because no doctor needed where we're from. We've learned to heal thyself. Healing, love, and light, all one. You know what I mean? That's some good apple and peanut butter. So something else that just dawned on me that I'm adding to my manifestation and visualization techniques. As I've always loved apples, pears, stuff like that, grow on trees. And I heard Dan Winter talking about, the food we eat, live food, having an energy capacitance in it still. A capacitor is something like, in a machine that is next to the battery. The capacitor allows the energy to be held, and like power lines, they have capacitors, the big coils that get that energy down enough to where it can come down into our houses and we can use it. So I feel that about like biting into an apple. But I see myself now in Oregon on a farm working, living my life. The breeze, I feel the breeze hitting my face, smell the smells of wonderful healing herbs in the wind. I'm feeling like nice and medicated and just at one with nature due to the heart's healing herbal extracts that I've ingested earlier that morning. I pull a pear off a tree, sitting on the tree, just right off the tree, and it snaps. And I have divine energy, capacitance in that pear. That divine energy is going to be, that crunch, that pop. That's that mother Gaia, that love, that divine energy. I might bag it with some peanut butter. I don't know. Probably not. energetic capacitance within the food we eat is the point I'm trying to make. The more close to life the food is, the more divine life we'll receive from it. And bless it all, regardless, and it'll do you good. And with that, we get back to the book. Line 300. All the world's possibilities in man are waiting as the tree waits in its seed. His past lives in him, it drives his future's pace. His present acts fashioning his coming fate. The unborn God hides in his house of life. The daemon of the unknown overshadow his mind, casting their dreams into live moles of thought. The moles in which his mind builds out its world. His mind creates around him its universe. Oh, what was I just talking about? All that has been renews in him its birth. All that can be is figured in his soul. Issuing in deeds it scores on the roads of the world, obscure and to the interpreting reason's guess. Lines of the secret purpose of the gods in strange directions runs the intricate plan. Held back from human foresight is their end, and the far intention of some ordering will, or the order of life's arbitrary chance, finds out its settled poise and fated hour. Our surface, watched in vain by reason's gaze, invaded by the impromptus of the unseen, helpless records the accidents of time, the involuntary turns and leaps of life. Only a little of us foresees its steps. Only a little has will and purpose pace. A vast subliminal is man's measureless part. The dim subconscient is his cavern base, abolished vainly in the walks of time or past lives still in our unconscious selves. And by the weight of its hidden influences is shaped our future self-discovery. Thus all is an inevitable chain, and yet a seems of accidents. Unremembering hours repeats. The unremembering hours repeat the old acts. Our dead past round our future ankles clings, and drags back the new nature's glorious stride. Or from its buried corpse old ghosts arise. Old thoughts, old longings, dead passions live again. Recur in sleep or move the waking man, to words that force the barrier of the lips, to deeds that suddenly start and overlap. His head of reasoning and his guardian will, and old self lurks in new self we are. Hardly we escape from what once had been, in the dim gleam of habits and passages, in the subconscient darkling corridors, all things carried by the porter nerves, and nothing checked by subterranean mind, unstudied by the guardians of the doors and passed by a blind instinctive memory. The old gang dismissed, old cancelled passports serve. Nothing is wholly dead that once had lived. In dim tunnels of the world's being and in ours, the old rejected nature still survives. The corpses of its slain thoughts raise their heads and visit minds' nocturnal walks in sleep. Its stifled impulses breathe and move and rise. All keeps a phantom immortality. Irresistible are nature's sequences. The seeds of sins renounced sprout from hid soil. The evil cast from our hearts once more we face. Our dead selves come to slay our living soul. A portion of us lives in present time. A secret mass in dim inconscient gropes. Out of an inconscient and subliminal, arisen we live in the mind's uncertain light, and strive to know master a dubious world, whose purpose and meaning are hidden from our sight. Above us dwells a supercontinent God, hidden in the mystery of his own light. Around us is a vast ignorance, lit by the uncertain ray of human mind. Below us sleeps the inconscient dark and mute, but this is only matter's first self-view, a scale and series in the ignorance. This is not all we are, or all our world. Our greater self of knowledge waits for us, a supreme light in the truth-conscious vast. It sees from summits beyond thinking mind. It moves in a splendid air transcending life. It shall descend and make earth's life divine. Truth made the world, not a blind nature force. For here are not our larger, diviner heights. Our summits in the superconscious blaze are glorious with the very face of God. There is our aspect of eternity. There is the figure of God we are. His young, unaging look on deathless things. His joy is our escape from death and time. His immortality and light and bliss. Our larger being sits behind cryptic walls. There are greatness hidden in our unseen parts that wait their hour to step into life's front. We feel an aid from deep indwelling gods. One speaks within, light comes to us from above. Our soul from its mysterious chamber acts. Its influences pressing on our heart and mind pushes them to exceed their mortal selves. It seeks the good and beauty and for God. We see beyond self's walls our limitless self. We gaze through our world's glass at half-seen vast. We hunt for the truth behind apparent things. Our inner mind dwells at a larger light. Its brightness looks at us through hidden doors. Our members luminous grow and wisdom's face appears in the doorway of the mystic ward. When she enters into our house of outward sense, then we look up and see above her sun, S-U-N, a mighty life self with its inner powers, supports the dwarfish modicum we call life. It can graft upon our crawl to pursuant wings. Our body's subtle self is throned within. In its viewless palace of veridical dreams that are bright shadows of the thoughts of God, in the prone obscure beginnings of the race, the human grew in the bowed ape-like man. He stood erect and godlike from a godlike form and force. And a soul's thoughts looked out from earth-born eyes. Man stood erect, he wore the thinker's brow. He looked at heaven and saw his comrades' stars. A vision came of beauty and greater birth, slowly emerging from the heart's chapel of light and moved into a white, lucent air of dreams. He saw his being's unrealized vastness. He aspired and housed the nascent demigod out of the dim rescued recesses of the self. The occult seeker into the open came. He heard the far and touched the intangible. He gazed into the future and the unseen. He used the powers earth instruments cannot use. A pastime made of the impossible. Ha ha, I like that. Woo! A pastime made of the impossible. He caught up fragments of the omniscience thought. He scattered formulas of omnipotence. Thus man in his little house made of earth's dust grew towards an unseen heaven of thought and dream. I like it. Going up, going up, going up. Looking into the vast vistas of his mind on a small globe dotting infinity. Wow, that's where we're at. A small globe dotting infinity. We see it as vast. It is pretty big to us. Man, the spiritual self, it ain't nothing but a dot. A small dot at that. An infinity. At last, climbing a long and narrow stair, he stood alone on the high roof of things. He saw the light of a spiritual sun aspiring. He transcends his earthly self. He stands in the largeness of his soul newborn, redeemed from encirclement by mortal things, and moves in a pure, free spiritual realm. My dream's making more sense. The further I get along in this book, the more the one and only dream I've had that I shared with my divine counterpart, she had the female point of view. It's making a lot more sense as I read this book. Go figure that. The guy that AUROBINDO, the one that escorted me off the cloud in my third NDE when I left my body and saw all sorts of glorious things written about in this book. I came back and told all my good friends that I felt I could talk to about it. This experience is so intimate and so real, so colorful, so vast. The colors, the world, things I saw, the experiences, mainly for the colors and just the whole experience. There's no words for it yet that I can quite describe. I don't know that I'll ever have the words or the vocabulary to describe this divine experience that I had out of my body. Going on 14 years later, as I read you this book right now, it was already written. In 1951, he finished everything that I didn't think the oneness in me had the ability to even read or imagine, much less conceptualize. In my, what I thought was a personal experience, personal to just me, the person that ushered me off the cloud wrote this book in 1951. And within this book are the perfect divine, poetic stringing of words that describe my experiences. Like, I'm covered in goosebumps. I love this. This life is not a dream. It's all real, especially the dreams. So dream big. The occult seeker into the open came. He heard the far and touched the intangible. He gazed into the future and the unseen. He used the powers earth instruments cannot use. A pastime made of the impossible. He caught up fragments of the omniscience thought. He scattered formulas of omnipotence. Thus man in his little house made of earth's dust grew towards an unseen heaven of thought and dream, looking into a vast vistas of his mind on a small globe dotting infinity, at last climbing a long and narrow stair. He stood alone on the high roof of things and saw the light of a spiritual sun. Aspiring, he transcends his earthly self. He stands in the largeness of his soul newborn, redeemed from the encirclement by mortal things, and moves in a pure, free spiritual realm. As in the rare breath of a stratosphere, the last end of far lines of divinity, he mounts by a frail tread to his high source. He reaches his fount of immortality. He calls the Godhead into his mortal life. All the spirit concealed has done in her. A portion of the mighty mother came into her as into its own human part. Amid the cosmic workings of the gods, it marked her the center of a wide-drawn scheme, dreamed in the passion of her far-seeing spirit to mold humanity into God's own shape and lead this great, blind, struggling world to light, or a new world discover or create. Earth must transform herself and equal heaven. That's what we're doing. Or heaven descend into earth's mortal state. But for such vast spiritual change to be out of the mystic cavern in man's heart, the heavenly psyche must put off her veil and step into common nature's crowded rooms and stand uncovered in the nature's front and rule its thoughts and fill the body and life, obedient to a high command she set. Time, life, and death were passing incidents, obstructing with the transient view in her sight. Her sight that must break through and liberate the God. Imprisoned in the visionless mortal man, the inferior nature born into ignorance still took too large a place. It veiled herself and must be pushed aside to find her soul. Period. End of Canto 7. This is amazing. Sending healing, love, and light to everyone out there in YouTube land and all over, to the farthest reaches of existence. We're all one, and I love you all. Victory to the divine light. Todos somos uno. Muy bien. Next, when I get back to talk at y'all, to read at y'all, it'll be Canto 3, The Enter into Inner Countries. I am so excited. And please leave your comments below what you think about, my personal story. If you enjoy me talking, or if you just have me shut up and read the book. I'll do what I want, probably regardless. But I would like to know what makes your listening experience more enjoyable, so I can help with that. And also hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't. SAVITRI by Sri AUROBINDO. Till the next one. Victory to the light.